dropped the mic, it hit the floor like Thor. That's right. You can't pick it up no more. Don't even try. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it was. Y'all know what it shall be. Get smart for the shit start. Before it get dark. Before they hit you with the pitchfork. Better grip, walk, grip. This is real talk. Smoke, push, and push, then we peel off. Niggas still rolling with the wheels off. Always looking out for the crisscross. I'm a bigger boss than Rick Ross. Always winning. Nigga get lost. It's the warlord. Bring the voodoo. When I fell through, it's crazy like Bellevue. What they tell you? Leave that boy alone. Like Home Alone. Fuck a skull and bone. Arrest the president. You got the evidence. That nigga is Russian intelligence. When it rains, it pours. Did you know the new bike was orange?
Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver. It's good to be here. Good to be here with you guys on this beautiful Wednesday. Beautiful Wednesday. How's everybody doing? We got 225 people in here so far. More people coming in. Yeah, good stuff, man. Arrest the president. You got the evidence. What a great week. It's been a great week. It's been a great week. It's good to be here with you guys again, doing Comic Artist Pro Secrets Live. Checking in. Just checking in with you guys. Yesterday, I bought my tickets to do Star Wars Celebration. I was actually worried. I bought my tickets, my 5-day passes to go to that show. Mike down a little bit. I bought my 5-day passes for that show like 2 months ago, and they're still not here. And I was like, what's that about? Well, I didn't realize they kind of send you your tickets late. Like now, people who actually bought them from the event themselves are just starting to get them. I bought them secondhand through StubHub, so of course I'm getting them later than other people. And I got the notification that they're on their way. With that, I bought my flight and I'm coming to Chicago. See you guys. Some of you guys. Hey, the Pee-wee. Wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you for $1.99. Good morning, sir. Good morning right back at you. Let me see who's in the chat here before we go forward. Johnny Boy's here. Pin drop Omega 53579. I'm so bad at saying numbers. I can't explain that. John Robertson says episode 9 Tico-less. Yeah. Well, look. All right, we might as well just get to that right now. That's the kind of big news for the day. They just leaked a poster. Supposedly this is a poster for Star Wars Episode 9. But I will say this. If this is real, this is a deliberate leak. This was not accidental. I'll show you this here. And if this is real, we know that Lucasfilm likes to monkey around. Why am I unable to share my screen? This happened yesterday too. Entire screen application window. Cancel. We might be having serious trouble here. We might be having some trouble. Last night I couldn't share my screen either on, let's see here. Yeah, the share is just not working. There it goes. Okay. All right. No problem. Ew, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. All right. I got scared there for a minute. I thought my whole world was broken. But it's not. It's fine. Let's see here. All right, so here is what's going on. By the way, Stephanie, thank you so much. Got some interesting Raylo stuff. Oh, me too. We can talk about that if you want to. People have been sending me this Raylo material about it kind of going too far, and those guys actually the weirdo Raylo shippers are actually harassing the families of the actors and actress behind Rey and Kylo Ren. And it's pretty despicable. They're calling for them to commit suicide so that the actors can be together in real life. They're mentally ill. There's some weird stuff going on out there. Wade Wilson says, will you buy all the Ticos at Celebration? If there's Tico merchandise, I will actually purchase it, of course. All right, so Star Wars 9 poster leak brings out the Knights of Ren and gives C-3PO a bowcaster. Here's the poster right now. This is what's been released. I will tell you this. This is a beautifully, professionally laid out poster. So I don't believe, some people are theorizing that this is just some sort of like fan job kind of thrown together, some sort of Photoshop. Hey, if that's the case, then Lucasfilm needs to hire this person right away, because this looks dynamite. I love this. I love this. See the way the swords are, look at that. And then the Millennium Falcon is parallel to Rey's sword, and so is the X-Wing. Is there anything that's parallel to Kylo Ren? Not really, but there are the Knights of Ren back there. You've got these new red stormtroopers, like red stormtroopers. They're a whole new set of action figures that we're going to be getting. In the background, you can see TIE fighters. You can see Star Destroyer. This is the thing about this. This isn't a very tight, kind of fuzzy, not a very good kind of, it looks like it's from a JPEG. Here's why I think it's genuine. Here's why I think Lucasfilm actually leaked this. Because the bottom of the poster here says Star, and then, there's no title. It's cut off. Now, if this were a genuine leak, we'd have the title right now. We would have the title if this. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'd have the stupid ad in here. It just says Star Wars, but it would say Star Wars, and then we'd know what the title was if this were like an accidental leak. But the fact that it just says Star Wars means that Lucasfilm probably just let this go. This is an initial teaser leading up to Star Wars Celebration, when all of the magic is going to happen. Interestingly enough, and this is the most interesting thing about this poster, C-3PO has a bowcaster. He's carrying Chewbacca's crossbow gun, which is incredible, I have to say. I'm like, I look at that and I go, oh, my mind is blown. That's terrific. We got BB-8 over here with the new little robot that we were talking about earlier that we saw it looks like a unicycle with Spy versus Spy on it. I think that's what this is here. He's a lot smaller than I thought he would be, based on the leaked photograph of him. We've got Finn and Poe. We've seen them in these costumes already. I'm not sure who this is back here. We have a woman of color, a WOC, and she's got kind of a little afro thing going on. I'm not sure who this is. It could be, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Anybody in the chat have any idea? But yeah, the whole thing about it is there's no Tico, unless this is Rose Tico and her final form. If this is Rose Tico's final form, then, all is well. Woman's name is Jana. Okay, this is Jana over here. All right, very good. We'll find out more about her, And who's this right here? We got another woman. Got another woman with a mask on. Yeah, she could be Lando's daughter. Yeah. If she's Lando's daughter, that's pretty cool. Is she half robot? Yeah, I wish it were Monica Rambeau. I really don't like this alien. I don't like this alien. I don't like the look on his face. I don't like it. All right, so let's just count up. We've got all the toxic. Well, we don't know if these are all men here, but we got 1 man, 2 men, 3, 4 males, 5 males. I have no idea what this is. 1, 2, 3. So I mean, it's 5 to 3. Again, we don't know the genders of the Knights of Ren back here. And these days, stormtroopers can go any which way. All right, so at first, it looks like any other Star Wars poster with lightsabers and energy trails going every which way. Then the closer you look at the details, you see C-3PO wearing Chewie's shoulder belt and hefting his bowcaster, and an unfamiliar fish-headed alien thing over Finn's shoulder, and 2 fully new characters all the way to the right. A woman with a fluttering cape, and another character with a purple bodysuit and a big shiny helmet. Yeah. She's got a buff purple shiny helmet. By the way, where is Tico? They are really kind of, I have a feeling J.J. Abrams is pushing Tico out. He's pushing Tico out a little bit. Zoivod, thanks for $10. Ethan, please, if you watch anything today, can we see you react to Senator Mike Lee's speech trolling AOC? It's full of Star Wars and comic book references. It's the greatest effing thing on the net now. I did watch it. I'll watch it with you. Well, I watched some of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. But yeah, we can do that. We can do that now. The Umbrella Guy says, "Hey there." As Tug said, IDW is dead. Yeah. We're gonna get to that as well. A lot of big news today. A lot of big stuff going on. All right, so according to the character sheets that Making Star Wars picked up along with the poster, these last two characters are Janet and Zori, respectively. Okay, we should have seen Janet in the Star Wars 9 set photos before, and she apparently fights with a bow, which is a real power move when you're going up against huge blaster cannons. We don't know much about Zori, aside from the fact that she's very likely played by Kerry Russell, who you may remember as Ellie from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So I'm calling it now. Zori is the new Boba Fett. Again, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think that's very hopeful of you. Again, there are some weird bits about this poster. My guess is that it legitimately does come from somewhere within the film's production, but only as a draft that was never intended for public consumption. That's not true. The final version will probably make the Knights of Ren look like they're not just all clumped together waiting for the bus, for instance. Yeah, but again, if this were the poster that was just leaked somehow accidentally, we would have the title of the movie on it. I'm positive of that. We don't have the title of the movie. That means that Lucasfilm did this deliberately. Lucasfilm leaks things. Lucasfilm just kind of leaks things and plays games. And this is the first thing that they're giving us. And I appreciate it. You know, I do appreciate it. Tim Lim's Bunny says, "Hail Caesar, save me from the degenerates." Okay, I will try to save you from the degenerates. I don't know. I'm excited about it. I legitimately am excited about Star Wars 9. Yeah, let me see. All right, let me find this Mike Lee speech. A lot of Fandom Menace are kind of yeah, here we go. Are kind of running it down. Are kind of running Star Wars 9 down. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to give it a chance. I can't help it. I mean, I don't know what it can do to redeem this trilogy. I don't think it can do much to redeem this trilogy, but I still want to see it, and I want it to do well. All right, let me go to this here. All right, get ready. We're gonna watch. So this is something that everyone's talking about today as well. Staying on the subject of Star Wars, Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, decided to make fun of AOC. She's AOC. What's her name? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I still don't have that memorized. I've been so out of politics working on Cyberfrog. Part of being in Comicsgate is to just kind of ignore politics, and I'm so happy to do it. Like I follow the sweeping overhaul, the overview of what's going on in the world, but I'm really on frogs and focused on comic books, so I'm not really paying too much attention to all this stuff, and all of these characters are not that important to me. It's kind of refreshing. It kind of feels good. But anyway, let's. This came across my desk. Everyone's talking about this today. Senator Mike Lee. Why are they doing this all the time now? There we go. Okay. Senator Mike Lee is making fun of the Green Deal. Now, far extreme leftists in the government, weirdos like AOC, are trying to do this thing in which they're going to make it illegal to drive cars. I don't know. I have no idea what their new plan is. It's really weird. But Mike Lee is going to make fun of it here. He's going to make fun of it using pop culture references. And this is probably the nerdiest, geekiest thing I've ever seen in my life. So at least the parts of it I saw. I don't know what you're allowed to do this now. You're allowed to do this in the government. You're allowed to get up and put on a show like this. You know? Don Draper says, "Since when is this a politics channel?" Don, it's not a politics channel at all. Okay? This is still a pop culture channel. You'll see why in a minute.
This is, of course, a picture of former President Ronald Reagan naturally firing a machine gun while riding on the back of a dinosaur.
I don't think it gets much better than that. I could train my entire life as a comic book artist and never create a piece of artwork as good as that. That is the greatest piece of art I've ever seen. Reagan saddled up on a velociraptor, and you can see the details. I mean, the velociraptor has, American flag saddle. and ripped up, torn up American flag, firing a machine gun, fully automatic weapon, and he's got a rocket launcher on his back, an RPG. Pretty amazing piece of artwork. Full screen. Okay, let's full screen this. You got it. Here we go.
You'll notice a couple of important features here. First of all, the rocket launcher strapped to President Reagan's back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stirring, unmistakable patriotism of the Velociraptor holding up a tattered American flag, a symbol of all it means to be an American.
I don't think a Velociraptor could hold a flag. I don't think it has opposable thumbs. That's my only complaint. Let me see. We've got a super chat. Seedfan85 says, the only way to redeem this trilogy is to forego the concept of it having been a trilogy and focus on good storytelling practices. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I really do think that this movie, as a standalone one shot, has an opportunity to do something good. J.J. Abrams does good stuff. He's poisoned by SJW every now and then, but he still is able to tell a compelling story. I'm hopeful about it. All right, let's go.
Now, critics might quibble with this depiction of the climactic battle of the Cold War, because while awesome, in real life, there was no climactic battle. There was no battle with...
Mike Lee looks almost exactly like Senator Joseph McCarthy. A younger version, a less drunk version, because he's probably Mormon. He's from Utah. He's almost definitely Mormon. So he doesn't have the kind of alcoholic, sort of deep, dried out lines on his face like Senator Joe McCarthy did. But he's got the same spirit and the same hairline.
Or without Velociraptors. The Cold War, as we all know, was won without firing a shot. But that quibble actually serves our purposes here today, Mr. President, because this image has as much to do with overcoming communism in the 20th century as the Green New Deal has to do with overcoming climate change in the 21st. The aspirations of the proposal have been called radical, they've been called extreme, but mostly they're ridiculous. There isn't a single serious idea here.
Hero Andrew says, take that image only with Trump on a T-Rex. Yeah, I know. Edward Cross says, oh, Ethan, be careful. C-SPAN likes to strike people. Quite all right, because I already used Ice Cube in the opening. This video is getting struck anyway. Yeah, this is just to entertain you guys right now. David Sutherland says, I'm getting Cyberfrog. Ooh, good. Thank you, David Sutherland. By the way, the link to back Cyberfrog Blood Honey is in the description below. And let me just check real quick and see where we're at. We were really close to 110. Yeah, we're at $109,556 right now. We're just about $450 away from hitting $110,000 today. So that'd be cool. If you guys haven't backed it, now's a good time to do so. And bless you all. Thank you. Yeah, FCNN and C-SPAN too.
Not one. To illustrate, let me highlight two of the most prominent goals produced by the plan's authors. Goal number one, the Green New Deal calls essentially for the elimination of airplanes. Now, this might seem...
We don't need them. We don't need airplanes. There's nowhere you need to go that you can't walk. Where do you need to go? Where do you need to go? All right, let's keep going.
Merely ambitious for politicians who represent the densely populated northeastern United States. But how is it supposed to work for...
I don't need an airplane to get to KFC. I could use a bicycle. I could use a car. If I have to use a car, but I have to think about my, carbon footprint. Where do I need to go? Except for Star Wars Celebration. I bought 2 first-class tickets to fly to Star Wars Celebration to see some of you. But, listen to it. According to whatever Ocasio-Cortez, whoever this person is, with the super wide eyes and the very strange smile. We don't need planes anymore. We got to go back to the 1800s. Things were better in the 1800s, except for the farting cows. Those still existed, but I don't know.
Fellow citizens who don't live somewhere between Washington, D.C. and Boston. In a future without air travel, how are we supposed to get around the vast expanses of, say, Alaska?
Trebuchet. That's how. Get in the trebuchet. I will shoot you into the air wherever you need to go. Costs absolutely nothing. It costs nothing. Okay. All right.
During the winter. Well, I'll tell you how. Tauntauns, Mr. President. This is a beloved species.
Look at her smirking. Look at the smirk here. This is a nice Republican smirk. She could be wearing a Make America Great Again hat and smirking at a Native American beating a drum. That's the smirk right there. She's like, we got him. Got him. Tauntauns. Tauntauns, Mr. President. Got him. Yeah. This is going on, by the way. This is what's going on in your government right now. Okay.
Mammals, native to the ice planet of Hoth.
That's too far away. We can't. Hoth is far, far, far away. Galaxy far, far away. We don't have any tauntauns. We couldn't get them.
No, well, perhaps not as efficient in some ways as airplanes or as snowmobiles. These hairy bipedal species of space lizards offer their own unique benefits.
Are they, he said reptomammals. Is that what they are? I never really thought about it, but I guess tauntauns are a mixture between a kind of, what are they? Like a cow, kangaroo, lizard. There's no mammal. Is there a mammal that has a tail like that? That's like a reptomammal. He's exactly right. And by the way, right here, Senator McCarthy. Look at the hair. I had to get my hair to do that. God, I got to look like I'm here to persecute communists. I need a suit. Guys, let me ask you a question. Would it be okay with you if I start wearing suits? Like kind of not that expensive suits, but suits all the time and kind of do this to my hair, what's left of my hair. I need to look like I am on a House committee to persecute communists. Would you guys think I'm a nerd, or like would you think I'd be cool? Yes? Suits all day? Yeah, I would wear a suit down here in the basement. All right, people are saying it's a good idea. All right, I believe you guys. I believe you guys. All right, I'm 44 years old. I can wear a suit to persecute communists and then slick my hair to the side. Did I shave my beard? Anti-communists have fat, shaved faces. I've got the fat face. I just have a beard right now. I gotta think about this. Well, I'll consult Andrea. All right.
Not only are tauntauns carbon neutral, but according to a report a long time ago and issued far, far away, they may even be fully recyclable and usable for their warmth, especially on a cold night.
I thought Democrats smelled bad on the outside.
What about Hawaii? Isolated 2,000 miles out of the Pacific Ocean. Under the Green New Deal's effective airplane prohibition, how are people there supposed to get to and from the mainland? And how are they supposed to maintain that significant portion of their economy that's based on tourism? At that distance, swimming would, of course, be out of the question. And jet skis are notorious gas guzzlers. Mm-hmm. No, all residents of Hawaii would be left with is this.
Aquaman. That's Aquaman from the Super Friends. That's Aquaman from the Super Friends, and he's riding a gigantic seahorse that is that seahorse would not do well. They do not surface. Seahorses do not surface like dolphins, Aqua dickhead. They need to be underwater at all times. They dry out. I don't care how big that seahorse is, it is going to dry out. That is the wrong thing to do. Why is he doing this? Why is Mike Lee doing this? So far, we've had, what have we had so far? So far, we've had. What was the first thing that he showed? I can't even remember now. We got a Tauntaun. We got Aquaman. Wonder if we're going to see Captain Marvel. Yeah. All right.
This is a picture of Aquaman.
Yes, it is.
A superhero from the undersea kingdom of Atlantis. And but notably here.
Smirk. Smirk. MAGA smirk. Still happening. She thinks this is pretty funny. Or, no, I think she thinks this is really funny. I don't think that's an ironic, embarrassed smirk. She's amused by this. She's pleased with Mike Lee and his performance. She thinks this is kind of funny that he's getting away with this, and he's making a point about how stupid Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is. Or is he? We've still got half of the thing to go. What was the first thing that he talked about? I can't even remember now. Oh, Reagan on the Raptor. Thank you. Yeah. Reagan on the Raptor made sense, though. He made a good point there. Yeah. He's taunting AOC. Good one, John Neal. Good one. All right, let's go.
Founding member of the Super Friends. I draw your attention, Mr. President, to the 20-foot impressive seahorse he's riding. Under the Green New Deal, this is probably Hawaii's best bet. Now, I'm the first to admit that a massive fleet of giant, highly trained seahorses would be cool. It would be really, really awesome.
I don't know.
But we have to consider a few things. We have no idea about scalability or domestic capacity in this sector.
She bows her head. She's right. Like, she realizes, look at this. Look at her face. She realizes that he's right. She hasn't thought this through. She was excited about a fleet of soy-based giant seahorses, but now she realizes practically it doesn't really make sense. Or if it does, they haven't thought it through yet. Completely broke her heart a little bit.
The last thing we want is to ban all airplanes and only then find out that China or Russia may have already established strategic hippocampus programs designed.
Hippocampus, those are horses. Those are primitive horses. Hippocampus. Let me look that up real quick. Hippocampus. All right. Hippocampus is not an SJW university full of blue-haired land whales. No. Is it? No, it's part of your brain. What am I talking about? Hippocampus. I'm thinking of Eohippus. Part of the brain. Okay.
Trying to cut the United States out of the.
Hold on. Let me see that again.
China or Russia may have already established strategic hippocampus programs.
Oh.
Designed to cut the United States out of the global market. Mr. President, we must not allow and cannot tolerate a giant seahorse gap. Goal number 2. The Green New Deal anticipates the elimination of all cows. Talking points released by the sponsors of the resolution the day it was introduced cited the goal of, quote, fully getting rid of, and I'll paraphrase a little bit here, flatulating cows.
Yeah, she wants to get rid of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is beautiful. I mean, she's a very lovely woman. She is the current star of the Democrat Party, and she can dance really well. You know, I mean, she dances a lot, and it's you know, it's sexy. She shakes it. But she's got an idea that probably we need to get rid of all cows because they fart, and that destroys the environment. She literally does say that. I mean, I wish that wasn't true. She said that what we can do is we can stop eating cheeseburgers because the cows, like, we're only making more cows to fill the demand for cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers. I don't know why she said bacon cheeseburgers. Those involve pigs. But just cheeseburgers, that's more reasonable. So stop eating bacon cheeseburgers, she says, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we won't have so many cows. They won't make more cows, you know. For some reason, she understands that environmental argument that, like, consumption of cows means that we make more cows. But these same Greenpeace weirdos don't understand that. They don't make that connection when it comes to trees. You know. All right, we move on.
Mr. President, I share their concern. But honestly, I think you've got to remember that if they think the cows smell bad, just wait till they get a whiff of the seahorses.
I don't think seahorses smell bad at all. They're taking a bath constantly. By the way, this guy has got to be Mike S. Miller's hero. Mike S. Miller, I'm going to bet you anything. Mike, are you in the chat right now? There is no chance that Mike S. Miller doesn't think this guy's the greatest guy in the world. He's got to be like so into this. But Mike, the bad news for you is that he's Mormon. I'm almost positive. He's from Utah. He's got to be Mormon. All right.
But back to the cattle. I've got a chart to illustrate this trend. As you can see, Mr. President, on the left, these little cows.
She's doing it again. Now it's really funny. Look at the cheekbones. She's looking down. She's not trying to draw attention to herself. Okay. But she is, she thinks this is, this part's really funny to her. Very funny. Hold on a second. Let's check on Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Cyberfrog Blood Honey team up cover. The third campaign is now at $109,626. We are only $374 away from hitting 110,000. Shooter McGavin, thank you for $5. Says random fact for you, EVS. You only need to make 15,000 or 15,000 and $1.99 USD more in your campaign to have officially made 1 million AUD across your two campaigns for Cyberfrog. Well, I'll be a millionaire. Is that in Australia? I'll be an Australian millionaire, probably in 15,000 more dollars. eHero Andrew says eliminating cows is like saying we need to make volcanoes illegal. Why can't we do that? Why can't we criminalize volcanoes? Why can't we just eliminate volcanoes? Yeah, so we are at 109,626, guys. Make sure to back Cyberfrog Blood Honey. The link is in the description below. And we're going to get this thing to 110 today, I think. I think we can do that. All right, let's go, Mike. What about these cows?
Represent the bovine population of America today. On the right is the future population under the Green New Deal.
I need to see those statistics. I need to see the figures.
We would go from about 94 million cows to 0 cows. No more milk, no more cheese, no more steak, no more hamburgers.
Now, this is a nightmare. I want you guys to understand when the election comes around in 2020, these are your choices. Cheese, steak, hamburgers, milk versus none of those. Okay? Trump represents cheeseburgers. Like, he literally represents the freedom that you have to eat cheeseburgers. Thank you.
Over the state work period last week, I visited some farms.
Derek F says, that's a pretty big decline, to be honest. Yeah, it is. It is. You can actually see it. It's like it's a hockey stick graph, but going the other way. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hockey stick, but it's going the other way. Suddenly, like, we've had a lot of cows, and then boom, 0 cows. It's an inconvenient truth.
To find out for myself what Utah's own bovine community might think of the Green New Deal, every cow I spoke to said the same thing. Boo.
Boo.
The authors of this proposal will protest that these goals are not actually part of the Green New Deal, but were merely included in supporting documents, accidentally sent out by the office of the lead sponsor in the House of Representatives. But, Mr. President, this only makes my point. The supporters of the Green New Deal want Americans to trust them to reorganize our entire society, our entire economy, to restructure our very way of life, when they couldn't even figure out how to send out the right press release. The Green New Deal is not a serious policy document because it's not a policy document at all.
It isn't.
It is, in fact, an aesthetic one. The resolution is not an agenda of solutions. It's a token of elite tribal identity.
Yes.
And endorsing it, a public act of piety for the chic
Brilliant.
and woke.
Chic and woke. Chic and woke. I got to do a comic book called Chic and Woke. Cute Nerd says, "What the? This is an awkward place to join you, Uncle E." Yeah. This is Mike Lee. For those who are just tuning in now, we got 1393. So this is Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah, United States Senate, and he is giving a ridiculous counter argument to the Democrats, specifically Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal platform, which is ridiculous. It involves eliminating all airplanes and eliminating all cows. And this guy, the reason why people wanted me to play this is because he made reference to Aquaman. He made reference to Jurassic Park in a way. He made reference to Tauntauns on Star Wars. So this is kind of pop culture based. Mike Lee made arguments as to why any of those ideas, like bringing Tauntauns in, might be good for the carbon for everyone's carbon footprint. And he thought an army of seahorses might be a good idea as well. I don't disagree, but all right.
And on those embarrassing terms, it is already a resounding success. As Speaker Pelosi.
That's it, huh? Okay, that's it. So people love stuff like that. I woke up to tons of people talking about this and being very, very excited about it and saying, I love Mike Lee. I love Mike Lee. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm an adult. I have difficulty. I have difficulty seeing our elected leaders acting like that, to be honest with you. I kind of cringe. Was it funny? I guess so. I mean, I guess when you're debating the Green New Deal, anything goes. You can treat it with utter disrespect and disdain. It does deserve it. Well, it does. It's absolutely ridiculous. What do you guys think in the chat? Yes, it was funny. Yes, it was funny. Watch the full thing. You'll like it. I love cows. I married one. Neon Zaru says the Iron Sheik and Ivan woke off. Free tauntauns for everyone. Yeah. Oh, the Sharknado bit. I saw the Sharknado bit. I didn't see it in that clip. That's weird. Yeah, he talked about having photographic evidence of Sharknado. Did they cut it out? Did this clip cut out the Sharknado part? That was the best part. I don't get that at all. Yeah. I do not understand that. All right. All right, so here's the other thing. People are talking today about IDW. IDW is in some trouble. And we've known this for a little while. Go to Newsarama here. And listen, we'll read this together. We'll try to figure out what exactly IDW is going to do here. Now, IDW has lost tens of millions of dollars. I don't know how you lose that much money in comics. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. These people are not following our example of making money. Like, we're over here in Comicsgate, we're making money, and they're over there in the mainstream actively losing money. John Malin says Sharknadoes kill thousands of Americans every year. Nick W says Tug buried IDW. LOL. Tug has been following IDW and speaking about them and talking about the financial crisis, the looming disaster of this company for a year now. He's been talking about the incredible fiscal irresponsibility. I kind of feel like IDW at this point, I think they were kind of holding out in the hopes that they were going to be able to license more Marvel Comics characters. But it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't. Here's the thing about it. IDW, it wasn't your properties. It wasn't that you didn't have good enough properties, good enough IPs. Lucifer Love Monkey says IDW didn't make comics. They made pitch storyboards. Everybody's doing that right now, though. Everybody's doing that right now. They're not doing comics for the sake of comics. Sketch Therapy, thanks for $9.99, says, can't wait for the adventures of Chic and Woke by All Caps Comics. They are detectives that are twin sisters running a PI agency. All I know is one is chic and the other is woke. Hippie coming soon as a woke hippie. Yeah, that sounds good, Sketch Therapy. That's kind of what we would need to do. They'd have to be cops together, chic and woke. One is more concerned with the way things look, and the other is more concerned about, feeling good about herself. Raging Golden Eagle says, you're going to start an Indiegogo fund to purchase IDW and set it straight now? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I couldn't care less. It's like they don't. Again, the mainstream comic book industry doesn't have anything that we want, and that's what galls them right now. Comic skaters, if they just do what they're supposed to do, they do not need IDW. If comic skate professionals, comic skate creators do what they're supposed to do, they do not need Marvel. They do not need DC. They do not need IDW or Valiant. They don't need any of that. In fact, eventually, if comic skaters do what they're supposed to do, companies like IDW and Marvel and DC, etc., will come crawling to them. That's the ideal situation. We want these people to actually come to us. We don't want to go to them. We don't want to beg them for work anymore. We want them to say, "Oh, yeah, we could use you over here. We could use a free-thinking, enterprising young person like you over here at IDW, which our shareholders are telling us to sell off. Please make whatever money that you can off of this dying company." So Newsarama reports IDW is for sale? ? JP Morgan hired to review company and maximize stockholder value. IDW Media Holdings Incorporated has hired JP Morgan to help in a company review for a possible sale or other alternatives to maximize stockholder value and realize the full potential of its vast content and library and pipeline. IDW is the parent company of IDW Publishing. So, 50 cents confirmed, says Alternate Reality Studios. What do you do? Just sell it all off and see what you can give people back, essentially, or it's going to be a total loss. Total loss. IDWM continues to build on its extensive library of widely followed and critically acclaimed graphic novels and comics, as well as its slate of current and planned television series. That's what it's all about. You need to get more TV series, including some of the strongest and most innovative franchises in the world, in the industry, said the company chairman, Howard Jonas. Howard Jonas, he's a conglomerate of Howard Jones, What is Love? And one of the Jonas Brothers. What do the Jonas Brothers sing? As competition for audience continues to intensify on both traditional and streaming over-the-top platforms, IDWM is well-positioned to produce and feed stellar programming in domestic and international markets. I love when they talk like this. I need a job where I can talk like this. Brett Cantrell is bidding $30. Cute Nerd says $20 confirmed. Sorry, you're outbid. $30 for IDW right now. You got to increase by $10 in Comicsgate auctions. Yeah. No, $3.50 is not enough right now. Not $3.50. Yeah, to be, it's so funny. It's like the Bob Iger speech that he gave, the note that he sent out to everybody, all of his employees as he was firing them. Just a litany of executive office speak, trying to explain, you're probably going to get fired. Your life is probably over. How can I say that in a way that might appear that I care? Consequently, we are working to extend our reach through new strategic partnerships while examining other alternatives to realize the full value of IDWM's outstanding IP portfolio and pipelines. This comes a few weeks after a representative from ADW, Capital Partners, who owns roughly 9% stake in IDW, released a letter calling for the company to be acquired. Adam Wyden said the recent acquisition of Valiant Entertainment and Miller World set a precedent for IDW's market value, especially given this company is larger as a comics company than those other two examples. So somebody please buy IDW. Will Campbell Soup please buy IDW? Who will buy IDW? Somebody will. Gimp Rider says, I have a coffee can full of loose change. I'll have to see what's in there. Maybe I can just hand them the whole can. You might have to, Gimp Rider. I don't know what's in a can, you know. Eon Sphere says negative 20,000 confirmed. You'd still be in debt. You'd still be in debt. IDW is in an enviable position as the fourth largest comic book publisher by dollar share, Wyden said. The Umbrella Guy says 36 million lost, 18 plus 20 million debt by 2020, 49 million value. Horrendous. They're just hemorrhaging money. Yeah. Dr. Meatball says, God, imagine if Zach and Ethan purchased IDW. We could just make our own thing. Why would, like, people are like, why don't you buy this troubled thing? The other thing is, a lot of people say, like, what IP would you like to buy? Would you like to buy G.I. Joe? No, I don't want to buy G.I. Joe. IDW basically, is buying up all of these known IPs that are past their prime. Things that people love, but they're just not going to buy the comics of. A very small audience is going to buy G.I. Joe comics. Very small. Very, very, very small. G.I. Joe does not appeal to young kids anymore. There's nothing on TV. There's no toy line that's continuing. It's a dead property right now. Basically what it has is an audience, a small audience of about 5,000 adult fans that'll probably buy the comic book. That's it. There's no reason to do it. And you've got to sell enough of those comic books to pay them their licensing fee. To pay Hasbro a licensing fee. It's not worth it. It's a mess. Just so what? You can say, I'm the guy who publishes G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, and all these other magazines that nobody wants to buy. Especially, and then you make them woke. Then you take them and you use them as vehicles to to be woke, to express your dissatisfaction with mainstream society. And nobody wants that. Orbital 1970 Goat says Disney will buy them. They buy everything else. That'd be interesting. If Disney, listen, IDW would love that. They would absolutely love that. Now, the key thing here is just to make your own IPs. Don't do this. Don't make an IP that's aimed at being a comic book. Every single comic book that comes out now that isn't like Spider-Man or like an established superhero, every time somebody does some kind of independent venture, these guys, they're all like, here's my version of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Just waiting for it to become a movie, just waiting to sell the option. It's not an ongoing, it's not a comic book. You're only doing it as a comic book, as it's storyboards for your screenplay. Essentially, that's what it is. Who wants to read this? God, I miss real comics. I miss good comic books again. I miss them. We need to bring them back. IDW owns or co-owns over 200 franchises. How are you not making a living? IDW CEO Chairman Howard Jonas has said that this review process won't necessarily result in any transaction. There can be no assurance that our review process will result in any transaction, said Jonas. We have not established a timetable for completion of the review process, and we do not intend to comment further on the process unless and until a transaction or other alternative is approved by the board of directors, our review process is concluded, or we determine that further disclosure is appropriate. So we're giving you this much information. We're not going to tell you anything else until we finally decide that, yeah, this is something that we need to do. So Tug was right all along. I mean, that umbrella guy has been talking about this, letting you guys know that this is inevitable, that this is going to happen. Cosmic Comics and Publishing says Dark Horse should merge with IDW. Yeah. Why not? At this point, why not? It's sad, you know. And I still, I'm sitting here selling Cyberfrog comics, and again, we are. Let me see where we're at right now. Did we sell any more? We are $109,686 for the third variant cover. This is the third printing of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. We just reopened it again one more time. And people are still like, when are you going to go back to DC? Don't you feel bad about not being in the mainstream? Eventually, we're going to become the mainstream. You know, it's inevitable. How can we be selling comics like this, making this much money, and not be the mainstream? Oh, it's just terrible. It's awful. But the mainstream is what it is right now. You know, people are not learning from their mistakes. They're not learning from their mistakes at all. All right, let me see here. For example, see if I'm blocked yet. Twitter is becoming a great means of making videos. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Okay, here we go. So, now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this really quickly. This is important. I was going to make a whole video about this or do a live stream about this yesterday, and I just decided not to because I had the High Council, and I just left it alone. This is Heather Antos. Heather Antos is one of the milkshake girls. She's one of the milkshake girls. The milkshake incident was a very strange thing that tended to it was the focus of a lot of very strange conversation. Was it last year? Was it 2 years ago? I can't even remember. It was either 2017 or 2018. It was probably 2017. Heather Antos was an editor at Marvel, and this was, or an assistant. Was she an editor or an assistant editor? I think she might have been a full-fledged editor, and there were a lot of, and then an assistant editor as well. There were a lot of assistant editors that were all young, pretty girls that all kind of hung out together at Marvel. Strangely enough, all of the assistant editors at Marvel at this time were young, pretty girls, and all of the full-fledged editors at Marvel were big, fat, furry men who would hire young girls to work for them as assistants, and Heather Antos was one of those. During this period of time, the birth of Comicsgate, what we've come to know as Comicsgate, a lot of strange things were happening. Like we had people like Heather Antos, Alana Smith, other people like that who were on the internet constantly demonizing and chastising the fans, calling them Nazis, telling them that if they voted for Trump, that they'd remember who they are. And these are people who wield some power. If you're interested in getting into comics and working in comics, these people have power. That's just the way to look at it. And for them to say basically, not in so many words, that A, your politics are going to matter when it comes to who we hire. And then B, also, look, we gossip. Comics is a big clique. And if we find you to be a dick, we talk. And we're not going to hire you if you're a dick. I know, let me just put it this way. Let me just put this out there. I know very few. First of all, I know very few comic book professionals, just a handful who are not assholes. Most of them are. But I'm also going to say this. I'm going to say that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter in the long sense of this idea, because in fact, most of the great people who created art and literature throughout the centuries have been assholes. They've been dicks. Edgar Allan Poe was a dick. Orson Welles was a dick. Alfred Hitchcock, we now know, unfortunately, was a dick. All that really matters is, or should matter, is the quality of the work, because really, we're trying to put out great comic books that people want to read. We're not trying to enforce standards of behavior within an industry that's based on the creative arts and who you as an editor might get along with. After all, Kathleen Kennedy gave us Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi for the exact reasons that you specify here. Why is Rian Johnson working on Star Wars? Well, because he made Kathleen Kennedy comfortable. What does comfortable mean? I don't really want to know. I'm not sure that I want to know. So this right here, and you've got 5,274 likes here on this comment. Pro tip: industries are small. People talk. Don't be a dick. No, this industry is small and getting smaller. It's getting smaller and smaller. It's getting to the point where people can't keep their doors open as comic book retailers. And one of the main reasons why they're unable to keep their doors open is because the product that is coming out is not sellable. It's just not sellable. People don't want it. I know you want people to want it because this is the product that your friends have produced for you. This is the product that has the social message that you want people to hear. But people don't want to buy the comics that your friends did with the social message that you have engineered for them for $5 a copy. So I look at this as, a message like this. This is Heather Antos used to work for Marvel Comics. Suddenly she didn't work for Marvel Comics after about 8 months of fighting with diversity in comics, scheming behind the scenes with ops to destroy his good name, call him a white supremacist, accuse him of being a Nazi, trying to take down his Patreon in a bunch of weird ops with strange people. The whole unwanted milkshake incident that brought some really strange attention to Marvel Comics. Heather Antos suddenly didn't work there anymore. She went on to get her dream job at an online gambling site. She was gone for, this is my dream job. I've always wanted to do this. That's funny. I didn't know that. She pined away for a little while. And then she got rehired at Valiant. And Valiant is a much smaller company than Marvel Comics. But here she is doing it again. Here she is abusing power again. Heather Antos, if anybody wants to work for Valiant, Heather Antos is saying, look, you're going to meet my standards. This don't be a dick is entirely subjective. And you are going to be judged. I am going to gossip with people. People are going to gossip to gatekeep if you do not conform to these standards. So this is, again, I find it to be an abuse of power. I think it's strange. I think this person didn't learn her lesson the first time around. The industry, as she said, and as I certainly do agree, is getting very, very small. It is getting smaller and smaller. Comic book retailers are closing their doors at an alarming rate. IDW is considering selling itself. Sales are down this month, down dreadfully. Everything's been down 8% for the last 3 years. Sales are down 8% for the last 3 years in a row. Comics are dying. It's inevitable. Everybody's kind of keeping their doors open at Marvel and DC by grifting the retailers with, unwanted, uncalled for variant cover schemes. Not based on sales, not based on a demand, but just based on, hey, we got to get, let's get some more books out there. They're over shipping. They just did it again. Newsarama just did another article where they caught Marvel over shipping a bunch more titles. Hold on a second. I got to find this. Oh, it's terrible. It's just so awful. Every single day, it's some new awful thing with the comic book industry. Hold on a second. Newsarama, Marvel overship. Let's see if we can find this. Yeah. Doubling. Well, I didn't want this many copies of this. And what's so funny is that, look at this. Marvel doubling retailer orders of Invaders 3 and Marvel Comics Presents number 3 for free. Thank you. Appreciate that. What does this mean? And I like the way they put this. It's like Marvel Comics is overshipping 3 March 27 titles, Daredevil 3, Invaders number 3, and Marvel Comics Presents number 3. Overshipping is where publishers send out extra copies of an issue at no cost to the retailer. Wrong. The retailer has to accommodate these extra copies with shelf space, and they also have to pay the extra freight fee for how much these books actually weigh. They have to pay the shipping, and they have to pay taxes on these books. They didn't ask for these books. They don't want them. Marvel's literally giving away product like, please. This is a sign of extreme desperation. First of all, the overshipping is going to count towards their sales actually sold. We've now doubled the amount of sold for Daredevil Invaders and Marvel Comics Presents for that month. Oh, God. And retailers just get this extra product that they can't sell. And they do end up paying the weight for the shipping costs of this. These are not free. It's extra junk. It's extra junk that Marvel's sending them that they didn't ask for. Marvel is doubling all amounts of Invaders 3 and Marvel Comics Presents 3 for orders made before final cutoff. Daredevil 3's amounts were raised 50%. So just 50%, not double. Marvel did not explain the reason for this surprise extra bit of comic books for retailers. Surely it's generosity. Surely the reason they did this was just out of the kindness of their hearts. Ranks Urok says it's like dumping trash at someone else's home. Right. This is the state of the industry right now. This is the way it is. And in this industry, the way it is right now, pro tip from Heather Antos, don't be a dick. People talk. Don't be a dick. Hey, behave yourself if you want to work in this declining industry with horrible backstabbing gossips. People talk. It's a small industry. It's getting smaller. If you want to work here and have Marvel humiliatingly free ship by 100% in some cases, the books that you worked on to retailers who didn't ask for them, who are not going to be that happy to receive them, then don't be a dick. These people just gossip like hens. They just endlessly gossip. It's like they can't just be quiet and just do good books that sell. Your job is not to police people's behavior on the industry. Your job is not to say you need to meet a certain standard of behavior in order for me to consider hiring you. You are an editor. Your job is to edit comics. Remember all the misspellings in Amazing Spider-Man? Typos that got through? Stop worrying about how people are behaving. Start worrying about how good their product is. Pando, Lando, Soy Child, Dong Lover says, don't be a dick. Exactly right. Exactly right. Oh, Mike Angerhauser's here. Put on the 5XL suit. Well, I don't have it yet, guys. I don't have it yet. I got to get it. I got to get a 5XL suit so I can look like a communist persecutor. Michael Rodriguez says, what's up, Ethan? Did the High Council decide who is going to reenact VidCon and sit front row at the Star Wars shipping panel to live stream it? VidCon is that infamous moment in which Sargon of Akkad sat in the front row with a bunch of other people of the who was it? The gamer girls talking about being harassed. Yeah, and they called him a garbage human. I'll do it. I mean, I don't know what it's like to get into a panel. I don't know how hard it is to get into panels, but I'm going to, and I don't know if I can even live stream them. I can tape them and show them later. They're telling me the internet, like Wi-Fi, is not going to be very good in this place. Yeah, Anita Sarkeesian, thank you. I could do that. You want me to sit in the front row of the shipping panel and smirk? Yeah, the shippers right now have a whole thing going on. They have a whole thing going on where the Raylos, some of the Raylos, not all of the Raylos, but some of the Raylos have decided that the actual actors should be dating, and therefore their respective spouses should probably kill themselves, and they are sending death threats to their wife and husband. Yeah. Use your weaponized white male smirk. Well, maybe I will. Maybe that's what I'll do. All right, let me look at super chats, just see if I'm caught up on them. Whoops, that's not correct. I have a picture. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about Star Wars Celebration. It's going to be a good time. I've never been to Star Wars Celebration. I don't really know what to expect. I expect it's going to be like every other comic convention I've ever been to. That would be just fine. Crazy Manor 2003 says, God, these writers are so shit at nomenclature. Nomenclature? Is it nomenclature? I don't think I've ever said that word. I've only read it. Mike Lombardo says, hey, Uncle E, I found your channel a while back, and I just want to say I really enjoy your content. I can't drive. Don't need people making things hard. Ian House says, have you ever read The Witness by Whittaker Chambers? Yes, indeed, I have. I've read it twice. It's a terrifying book that tells you exactly how crazy communism was, and to be a communist subversive in the 1930s and 40s, how dangerous it was. They would, if they thought you were getting out of line, they'd try to kill you. Whittaker Chambers. And then just the way you learn a lot from that book. You learn that Alger Hiss, what a great name, Alger Hiss, who was a handsome, well-liked young man, went to all the right schools. He went to Harvard. He had all the right friends in government, but he was a communist spy. And then on the other hand, you had Whittaker Chambers, who was also a communist spy at one point and knew that Alger Hiss was a communist spy, and he was fat and he had bad teeth and he was kind of shy and awkward. He didn't glow like Alger Hiss did. He didn't glow like I do. And so people thought that Whittaker Chambers was lying about Alger Hiss. And what you learn from that is that people kind of make judgments about each other based on very surface level traits. Most people just kind of say, well, he's fat and ugly. Alger Hiss is young and attractive and well-bred and smart, so he couldn't possibly be a communist spy. Now, Whittaker Chambers' life was utterly destroyed, proving the point. And at the end of the story, he did. He actually had the proof, man. He kept the receipts, and he was able to prove that Alger Hiss was a spy, was lying the entire time. In fact, a very busy and active spy, communist spy within the government. Whittaker Chambers' life completely overturned, but I mean, what a great redemption story. And you just learn. These are lessons that stay with you, about truth, and about the way human beings kind of can be snowed easily by charisma. It's a great book. Absolutely great book. Casis says, don't be ugly. That is the lesson that you need to learn. He got the transcripts. That is right. Yeah. I mean, think about it. It's like the fact that it's called why didn't a He-Man villain ever have a set piece called Hiss Chambers? And it'd be like a snake palace. I should have been able to get like the Hiss Chambers. But yeah, good book. You can get it. You can get the. I read it once and then I listened to the audio book because it's just such a good story. I mean, it really is great. E-Hero Andrew says eliminating eliminating cows is like saying we need to make volcanoes illegal. Evan Von Scriver says, why was Superman a murder hobo, Ethan? Yeah, you keep telling me about Superman hobo Superman. I'm not sure what you mean, Evan. I want to answer your meme, but I don't really know what it refers to. Are you talking about Superman 3? Let me know. Zerank says, damn you, Mike Lee. I want my tauntaun. Yes, GND. AZ Robeson says, no cheeseburger, no milkshake, no cake equals no life. And yeah, and again, I want to repeat this one here from Lucifer Love Monkey. IDW didn't make comics, they made pitch storyboards. So very true. Raging Golden Eagle says, you're going to start an Indiegogo to fund your purchase of IDW and set it straight now? Again, no, I just, even as a joke, like I'm not even nearly interested in that. We can do all this ourselves. We don't have to buy a beat up, broken down old car. We can buy a new car. We can build our own car from scratch. We don't need to fix other people's mistakes. You know, that's the great thing about Comicsgate. We want nothing from this industry. There's nothing this industry has that we want at this point that I want. And therefore, there's no bargaining to be done with me or me with them. Gimprider says, I have a coffee can full of loose change. Let's see. Nasser Rabadi says, check out Trixie Kane, Blood Reaper on Indiegogo. Nasser Rabadi's always selling his book, man. That's one thing about Nasser. Let's see. Antonio Cardina says, Caesar, stop avoiding your duty and take up the title of Patriarch. Patriarch. Okay. I should do that. Pindrop says, too bad for the shippers. Daisy Ridley is gay. Is she gay? I know Captain Marvel is supposed to be gay now. Do you guys know that? Evidently, Captain Marvel is gay. Shooter Mr. Gavin. This is weird. I can't actually see your super chat. I don't know why. I'm not sure why that happened to you. Oh, there it is. Just got my crypto fashion order yesterday. Soilo shirt, Fenda Menace cap, and Cyberfrog hoodie. You were right. Their quality's amazing. Yeah, that's what I keep telling Zach. Like, you got to just open up a t-shirt store because it is amazing. Micah Robinson says, and thanks for $20, says, how about a Captain Marvel parody? That is, I mean, it's corrupt, man. There's just corruption. It is ridiculous. You know, just when you think like we have one dude, we've got one of these hate crime hoaxers, got him down. He's famous. His hate crime hoax was explicit. He should be serving time so that we can stop these hate crime hoaxes. I mean, they really are criminal. His whole thing was to demonize you and me and call us Nazis, call us people who would jump and beat up a gay black man. That's what he was accusing us of. You know, for no reason, because it's MAGA country. These people live in a cartoon world. And, you know, went to a lot of effort to pull that scam, to pull that hoax, to win people's sympathies, to turn people against their fellow Americans like that. It's sick, man. It's just sick. And he's going to face no punishment, none. And there should be. They're calling for an investigation. I hope so. Michael Rodriguez says, did you see the new Black Series Luke figure? He looks like Val Kilmer. I did see that. We looked at that on the High Council last night. It was weird. There was a poor likeness of Mark Hamill. Ian House says, friendly reminder to the chat, Ethan's MAGA opus, Cyberfrog Blood Honey, is still available on Indiegogo. Back it if you can. If you can't, help spread the word wherever you can, whenever you can. Peace and love. Heart Cookie. Hey, thank you, Ian Howe. Ian Howe's been awesome lately. Ian, I want you to know that I see what you're doing to help me, and I really appreciate it. You know, I really do appreciate that effort that you're putting forward to help Cyberfrog succeed. It's nice of you. Beckinator says, FBI investigating Smollett now for mail fraud. Why? What's the mail fraud? What did he do? Cyberfrog Blood Honey is now up to $109,731. We're now just $269 away. $269 away from hitting 110,000. And then we can brag on Twitter. And so much of this is just about bragging on Twitter. You're trying to win bragging rights. Let me look in on the Meg. Mike S. Miller's The Meg, Six Gun Samurai, Deal with the Devil, $53,250. Good for you, Mike. Yeah. Harry Bergeron says Smollett attacked the fabric of society in much the same way that the terrorists do. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Man of Action says, where's my book, Frog Daddy? All right, I'll tell you guys. Cyberfrog Blood Honey is going to print April 30th. Okay, it's going to print April 30th. It will be back in the hands of the publisher and the distribution fulfillment. I mean, the fulfillment center. Mid-June, you guys will have your copies in July. So April 30th is final cutoff. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to kill the campaign on April 30th or just let it keep running. I'm gonna overprint it, certainly to the third cover at least, to some extent. I should probably just let it keep running until we're actually shipping things out. No reason not to. It's gonna be a month and a half. It takes a long time to print these. Comic says, excited to show you my Comicsgate Comic Magic Cop when you're here in April. What's the best way to set up the details on getting you guys to our arcade? Oh yeah. That shouldn't be hard. That shouldn't be hard. I'll talk to the guys about that today. And see what they want to do. I know we have a bar set up, like a bar hangout. I'm not sure when that is. I think that's Friday night. But we should get together and do the arcade too. Mazzamonte says, federal crime if he sent himself that letter, apparently. Good. Happy birthday, Mike. Is that Mike Angerhauser? Yeah, it is. Happy birthday to Mike Angerhauser today. I hope you're feeling better. Die Standing says, hey, Uncle E, I was watching Artist Alley interviews from 2010. What happened? Such a nerd. I don't know. No, it's just a different time. It's a much different time. Yeah, I know. Jussie Smollett was rehired by Empire and given a raise. They double down. That's what they do. They double down. They never admit that they're lying. They just double down and move on because, again, it happened with James Gunn. What do you think? They're gonna just take the L on Jussie Smollett? They don't do that. They look after their own. And honestly, I don't see why we don't do the same at this point. We should never admit guilt to these people. We should never apologize to them. We should just kind of, say, F you. We're still going to. I mean, when it comes to comic skaters, I won't sell out one of our own. I won't do that. I won't sell out a comic skater to an SJW. Because it's not reciprocated. It's not fair play. It's all politics. It's all fun and games. It's the way it is. Yeah. Save Transformers IP, please. I love the Transformers. I love it. Who doesn't love it is diversity in comics, man. Zach doesn't like it at all. He prefers G.I. Joe. I love the Transformers. I love them. Yeah. Jim on G says you look much better in 2010. Well, thank you. I get handsomer as I get older. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it is that, when you're doing comic books full, it's not help. It wasn't help the way I was working for DC. It just wasn't. I produced a lot of work. And I remember just eating donuts, not caring about how I looked, just caring about what my work looked like. What does my work look like? Is my work good? And just turning in pages and stuff. Andrew Rotten, thanks for $1. Just turning in pages and getting fat, eating donuts. And it's an awful lifestyle. And I stopped. I thinking like I got in shape for a little while, but then just fell off the wagon again, because when I was getting in shape, I was not working out the way that I was, and I wasn't happy anyway. Timecode Mechanics says, I've re-uploaded the Epitaph Bread and Salt movie, a prequel to Victor Locke Demon Noir. Back Victor Locke Demon Noir on Indiegogo. Comicsgate Phase 2. Hell yeah. Yeah. Andrew Rotten says, I'm poor this week, Uncle. Sorry. Oh, it's okay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your being here. Go Carnivore. I'm so excited about moving into the new house, guys. The new house is going to be a big deal. I mean, I'm just, it's so private. There are walking trails like all around. I mean, here it's hard to get out there and like run. Like, I love to run. I really love to run. And I have a treadmill, but running on the treadmill is, it gets boring. I'm going to get out there and run outside, and we've got all this room to do it. It's private. It's private. Nobody, it's always embarrassing when you're like running. Getting out of the house and starting to run when you haven't run for a long time is embarrassing, because you feel like people are looking at you. You've got cars driving by and people going, look at that fat mess trying to run. Go ahead, fatty. Go run. That's the worst thing ever. You don't want that. You want privacy. You want to humiliate yourself only before the eyes of God. It's important, and having that privacy and having all that wide space to walk, to run, to get in shape. The world becomes your gym, man. The forest becomes your gym. And that's what Cyberfrog Blood Honey is about, too. That's what Cyberfrog Blood Honey is about. The Pine Barrens being a godforsaken place in which no human being would ever live, would want to sustain him or herself. Initially, when all there is, the only life forms that there are frogs and salamanders in this one location. But eventually, things happen. Circumstances happen where we're forced to retreat to our animal selves, to our survivalist selves. What do? We can live in the woods. We can fucking live anywhere. The world is our gym. Matt Horkins says, subscribe to PewDiePie. Yeah. Get out there. That's me. I am the Jersey Devil. Rocket Thwise, thanks for $1 donation. Running fat man equals entertainment of gods. Well, then God can laugh, but nobody else will. Zaid Comics says, just uploaded a comic writing video to my channel where I go over how panel layouts are used to set the tone of a page. I use Cyberfrog as an example. Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to see that. Training for the Wasp Apocalypse. Yeah. I'm going on Billy Tucci's show on Friday, by the way. I don't know if you guys are watching the Billy Tucci's new channel. His new channel is called Crowdfunding Comics. And it's off to a rough start. These guys don't know how to use microphones. And it takes a while, to be fair. It takes a while. When you have a live chat with like 5 people on it, it's a game of double dutch, or else it just becomes a cacophony. It becomes unlistenable. You have to know when it's your turn to talk. And they don't always know that. And some people don't have microphones. Some people do. So it just sounds like holy hell. But they're getting better. They did one yesterday or 2 days ago with Bo Smith and the actor from Winona Earp. And it was good. I listened to it. It was much better. So I'm coming on Friday night at 6, Friday the 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be on his show to talk about crowdfunding comics. There are a lot of people out there right now that want to teach you how to crowdfund comics, and they don't know what they're talking about. Hang Solo, thanks for $2. EVS, please ask KK about Star Wars at Star Wars Celebration on Film. Do you think they're going to let me get close to Kathleen Kennedy? It's not going to happen. I would love to. I had a fantasy about bumping into Ryan Johnson in the hallway. Now, if this were the comic book industry, that would happen. In the comic book industry, I would bump into whoever I want. But in the Star Wars industry, I'm nobody, and I like it that way. I'm nobody in the Star Wars industry, in the whole kind of world of Star Wars. I'm just a fan, and that's a preferable situation for me. It means I have no responsibility except to my audience, to you. FP Sonny says Tucci disowned you. Why support him? Tucci didn't disown me. Did Tucci disown me? Tucci, did you disown me? Yeah, he didn't disown me. We talk every day. What happens when you bump into Ryan? Yeah, I thought about that in the car. I was driving out to run a couple of errands, and I was like, what would I say if I had Ryan Johnson for 1 second? Like, what would I say to him? You know what I would say to him? I'd say, your head's not that round. That's what I'd say to him. I thought about it. I gave myself some time to think about it. Your head's not that round. Just like that. You know what I think he would say in response? He would say, thanks. Not as round as I thought, your head. And yeah, you're right. Like it is round. If I saw it in person, I'd be like, your head's way rounder than I even could imagine. Shooter McGavin says, when I started running, when I was overweight, one dude yelled at me, keep going, buddy. The bakery's just around the corner. F him. I lost 92 pounds. See, that's funny. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of the people yelling at me from their cars. I want my privacy. Semage J says, hey, Comic Artist Pro Secrets, can you tell us about your elbow pads? Oh, sure. All right, so these are spider elbow pads. Now, I draw so much that I lean hard on my elbows, and because of that, my elbows are sore. And I had I don't know, I had an infection. It inflated. My whole elbow blew up, bursitis. So I had to get a shot, and then the doctor said, wear elbow pads from now on, because I'm leaning hard on a hard surface all day long on my elbows. And it's been much better. It's much more comfortable, to draw when I'm wearing elbow pads, and I can't really do it without them anymore. I get irritated. It's irritable. I don't know. Jesse N says, I pretty much have a complete home gym. You guys have to see my garage, man. My garage is huge. I could have a garage gym. Hunter looked at the garage. I sent him a video of the garage, and he said, I'll be using that. He's like, how much of that garage gets to be me? 0%, Hunter. You're not fixing cars in my garage. Why does he think it's instantly going to be? No. He's like, I'm going to be changing oil in that garage. No, you're not. You can't get oil in my garage. Why would he think that? Why would he think that was okay? By the way, we're at $109,966. We're just now $34 away. Softrex says, wait, so is Zach coming to Chicago? No, I don't think so. He could if he wanted to. Gat Hanzo says, come on, Caesar, let the kid work. Yeah, he can work at his work. He doesn't need to work at my house. He work over there. Get out of my garage. Yeah, Mr. EP1KK says, garage is for cars, Ethan. Yeah, I know it is. It's for parking your car. It's not really for, it could be for, rebuilding a car, but no. Lucifer Love Monkey says, epoxy coat the floor before you move anything in. Yeah. Sketch Therapy says he's probably going to change you and Andrew's oil. No, he definitely is, but he's going to change it at his work. We'll come to his work. We don't want oil all over the. We speak from experience. He used this garage. Hunter was building cars in this garage. Wreck and shop. It's called a garage, not a car park. You guys have to trust me. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Panboy, he has a good set of tools, man. He's invested like $8,000 in tools on a credit card his mom got him. He's gonna be paying off those tools for the rest of his life. Me and his grandfather said to him, why did you do that? Well, you just tell me you need $8,000 to buy tools. We would have bought you tools. You know, when you go to a technical school, when you're, you know, all these predatory credit lender dudes come up to you and they're just like, hey, you know, we want to sell you these tools at 25% interest, but you can have them now. Snap-on, yeah, they're Snap-ons. He's like in debt. Like he's got like they're practically student loans. I know. So we would have bought them for you. Just say, you know, Dad, Granddad, I need $8,000 for tools. We would have split that between the two of us. We would have bought him those. Instead, now he's in debt. Star Woke Incorporated Nico says, I would tell him to get a real job, hippie. Yeah, my kid is a hippie. I'm gonna tell him that. He'd get pissed. Like Hunter, if you called Hunter a hippie, he'd get pissed off. Yodio says EVS is like, go buy your own garage, boy. Pay off his debt and buy the tools. No, that's just not a good idea. Yeah, he got himself into that. He's got to get himself out of that. He's got to learn a lesson. He's got to learn a lesson. You know, I had this whole conversation with him. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, if I could, like, if everything were about my feelings and what I wanted from life, I would have Hunter move into the new house when he gets done school and never leave. Just stay here. You're my kid. Like, you're my kid. You're not leaving. You're staying here, living with me. That's what I want. Like, I'm not like, or maybe I would change my mind after a little while, a couple years of Hunter living with me, bringing girls in and out. But that's just not good for him. I want this kid to actually become a man. I want him to be self-sufficient, to take care of himself. So I can't just, you know, I can't hand everything to him, and he needs to get out and get his own place. I moved out when I was 20. Was I 20? I was 20. I moved out, and it felt like the right time. What about you guys? When did you guys move out, Chad? When did you move out of home? Man of Action says he's good. Let him have his tools. He is good. He's a great kid. I don't have complaints about Hunter, but he's not my garage. This is my house. 25, 30, 13. A lot of people are saying 18 for college. Yeah. But I mean, when did you permanently move out, get your own place? A lot of people are saying teenage years. Yeah. I was 20 and it felt weird. Like it was time to, like, I knew it was time to go. I just knew it was time to go. I felt weird. I felt strange living with you just grow out of it. You grow out of it. And I'm talking to Andrea because, you know, her daughter, my stepdaughter, Kaylee, is 12 and she's starting to behave like 12-year-olds behave. Like she's starting to be like, you know, all the time about everything. And, you know, like when it's your first kid, like, and you forget like how you were as a kid, you forget all of your own motivations and everything. Like it hurts your feelings. And Andrea's just like, I don't know why she's acting like this. Why? Because she needs to act like this. She needs to decide that living here with you sucks so that she has the instincts and desire to move out on her own and take care of herself. Otherwise, if she agreed with you about everything and thought you were awesome and wonderful, she'd stay here forever. Kids have to decide that it sucks to be at home. You can't take it personally. You have to laugh about it so they can be self-sufficient one day. Angela Richter says, I was 18 and never went back, never wanted to. Yeah, that'd be cringy to move back. Mr. Got Rocks goes, Hunter's going to live there just to change the oil in EVS's elbow pads. That'd be nice. Techno Toad says, I dropped out of high school and moved out on my 17th birthday. Bought my first house at 27. That's nice, too. That's really great. Cecil doesn't live at home. He lives with his sister, and he's got it good there. Apparently, she has a really big house. Yeah. I always hear those stories about like people's lives, like adults' lives falling apart. They have to move home with their mom in their 40s. What would that be like for me? Oh, by the way, we just passed $110,000. Thank you, everyone. $110,026. How far are we into this? 13 days. 13 days into our campaign for Cyberfrog Blood Honey team up cover. $110,000. All right. Yeah, if I had to move back in with my mom, she's just had a hip replacement. She can't see. She's got 11 cats. They're all furry. Like my mom likes super furry cats. She's a Democrat. I love my mom. I guess if I moved in with my mom, it would be good because I could take care of her. But yeah, I can't see the good part of that, really. All right, so people are asking how White is doing. That's a good question as well. Let me turn the camera off. Like my mustache is itchy. I can't explain that. All right, let's see how White is doing. This is important. A lot of people are curious about Kwanzaa's book. Last I looked, it's almost there, man. It's almost funded. Oh, yeah. Look at this. All right. This is, they couldn't have timed this better. Look at this here. He's got 4 days to go, and he's at $39,061 of his $39,999 goal. So, really, like, let's see, what's going to happen here? If he was just going at the same pace, they would time out at exactly their goal. They get about $200 or $300 a day. I've been watching them. I'm fascinated by this campaign. Unkindness of Ravens, thanks for $2.99. 58 years old, haven't seen a comic in 40 years, but love you. Wow, thank you, Unkindness. I hope you enjoy Cyberfrog if you funded it or backed it. I appreciate you. I can't wait until you see your copy. I hope you enjoy it. Mr. Here You There, me here you there says you help promote and fund that book, Ethan. Shame. I have no shame over that. I'm not somebody. I don't really want people to fail. I don't even care if they're my enemies. I don't want people to fail, and I don't really even consider Kwanzaa my enemy. I consider him to be Zach's enemy. I've never gone rounds with him. I don't like Jamal Igle very much, who's drawing the book, but I don't want these guys to fail. If they fail, it's funny, but if they succeed, good. I'm not that type of guy. It's not like I'm like only I'm allowed to win. No, I want everyone to win. So even people who I don't like, whose views are different than mine, I don't want people to go hungry. I want people to succeed, and I want people to make more comics, and let the market decide. And the market is deciding here. Kwanzaa, enemy of state. Dickhead should always fail, says Al Lewis. Well, look, this is kind of a fail. They're going to barely get to their goal. But here's the thing. So he's got 4 days to go. I just really like to watch crowdfunds. It's like the same reason people used to like to watch game shows in the 1950s. They just want to watch the money. You just want to watch and predict. And it's like a horse race. So here's what should happen. So in the next 2 days, he should hit goal. He'll hit goal. If he doesn't hit it today, he'll hit it in the next 2 days. The last 2 days will be a sudden burst of energy. I predict he lands at 48,000. That's my prediction. MJ Merlin says, you're more entertaining than V. Take my view. Thank you. Richard Tisdale, thanks for $5. Uncle E, your thoughts on the EU and Article 13? It's disastrous. It's disgusting. It's horrible. Sick of it. I don't know what's going on with Europe, but these people, they're just longing for fascism, longing for authoritarianism. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I thought that American values were kind of universal, but no, this really is like This is the best, safest country to be an artist and to express yourself. Harry Bergeron says, how many of White's backers are guilt backing because of Cyberfrog's success instead of interest in the book? No, I don't think that's the case, Harry, because you have to remember one thing. This book, the book before this, Black, did twice as well as this. It's twice as well as this. So, yeah, no one asked us, Ethan, says Stefan S. I mean, come on, guys. Every time I go to Europe, I'm happy to be there. You guys have so much culture and so much just greatness. I went to Italy. I took a 10-day tour of Italy. I got to go to Rome and the Colosseum. Man, it's fucking Rome. It's Italy. You know, I've been to Germany. I've been all over the place. And man, you guys have so much to be proud of. Greece is so beautiful. And then you just let these people just take away your freedom. And I get it. Believe me, I know the European people are, you know, I just don't get it. Come over here. Come to the United States. Blend in. Yeah. Come blend in here in the United States. So, what was I saying anyway? Oh yeah, so the reason why this is a failure in any case, and it has nothing to do with me at all. Like I didn't like these are not people that I didn't send people here. I'm pretty sure that almost nobody who watches my show and enjoys my show, doesn't just hate watch it, is backing White. He just lost money. Somebody just unbacked him. The reason why I think that is because look, these guys they made $90,000 last time. They were at $90,000, and now they're going to barely. I think they'll get to 45. They just half of their audience disappeared. You know, I expect Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet to do better than Cyberfrog Blood Honey, unless the book sucks. Like if people just go, "This book sucks," I don't think the book sucks at all. I think the book's great. So I'm not expecting. I have no shame about Cyberfrog Blood Honey. It's the best thing I've ever done, and it is going to grab you by the heart and by the balls if you have them. It's a pretty great, pretty tremendously frightening book, and a lot of fun. So I expect Wreck Planet to do even better. I expect to keep the fans that I have and to get more fans. Time Code Mechanics. Hey, Nathan says, can't knock Kwanzaa's hustle. He meets his goals. Yeah. Not hating. Trencher 1375 says the idea is to stop Facebook and other sites use artists and newspapers products without paying. Problem is it can be misused. Yeah. What is White about? White is about well, I'll pitch it for Kwanzaa. Let me pitch Kwanzaa. If you're listening, I'm pitching your book for you. All right, so Kwanzaa has this concept, and if this concept were well executed, it would be a pretty good idea. So in Kwanzaa's world, only black people have superpowers. I don't know if that means that all black people have superpowers or that just some black people have superpowers, but only black people have superpowers. Okay. And in this world, they're still hated and despised, like mutants. Black people, in Kwanzaa's world, black people are being shot by police all the time. You know, it's kind of like everything that Black Lives Matter says happens. Like it really does happen, like times 1,000 in this book. Hey, you kids, freeze! Hey, it's the cops, and you're like 12-year-old boys with a basketball, and the cops just gun you down. Like that was a scene in the book. So in this story, White, apparently Trump becomes the president. A guy named Theodore Mann becomes president of the United States. Get it? The man. Theo Mann. The man. He's white, and he becomes president of the United States. And then, you know, that's the worst thing imaginable. So that's the story, man. So back it. Here's the campaign. Go back it. If you would like a copy of White by Kwanzaa Osajefo, go back it right there. It's a very strange book. I do like the idea of black people having superpowers. I could do that. Like, you have to be clear as if, did they just suddenly get superpowers now? Like, are they just starting to mutate, or like, did they always have them? Because if they always had them, there would be very little racial strife. They would own the world. But if they just started to get them, I think that's kind of cool. You could do a story like that. Meanwhile, Cyberfrog, Blood Honey, 110,000, and again another backer came through, $110,096. We still have 17 days to go. My book has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with race. You know what it's about? My book is about a benevolent planet with the best of intentions, sending a spacecraft, a living spacecraft with unformed fetal mass inside of it, to get to Earth, hopefully become a superhero named Cyberman, who would be able to turn back an invading horde of a plague of alien wasps that would use humans like livestock, and completely take over the planet, destroy it. Cyberman was supposed to be there, but the whole mission failed. Everything about it failed. And what happened instead was Chelsin, the living spacecraft, landed in a little swamp in the Pine Barrens, New Jersey, and came in contact with a frog and a salamander. And Cyberfrog and Salamandroid were born instead. And they were supposed to be heroes. They were supposed to be met by the world with open arms. Can you imagine if this incredible human cyborg alien hero shows up and he's programmed to care for you and to save the world, and he's got superpowers beyond belief? That was the idea. That was the plan. Somebody who can turn back an entire alien invasion single-handedly. But instead, it's a frog. The whole thing fucked up. Indeed, as we learn, because of circumstances, the circumstances involved with being a frog instead of a person, his mission failed as well. He failed at it. And now 20 years after the initial invasion in 1998, Cyberfrog wakes up to a world that's been utterly terraformed and destroyed by the Vespis, these alien hornet wasp bee creatures. Who survived? Can he save what's left of humanity? Can he fix this? He's just one frog. That's the story. That is the story. And I think it's it hits on a lot of notes. I think it hits on a lot of feelings about friendship and loyalty, about having a purpose, feeling like you failed at that purpose sometimes. I think it has a lot to do with conformity, resisting conformity. There are a lot of notes in there that I think are going to make it a very personal book about a frog and a giant salamander fighting bees. Sketch Therapy, thanks for $4.99. The other countries on Earth are nice and all, but USA is objectively the freest for individuals. Is our law perfect? No, but which is better? I've seen none. I agree. I'm proud to be an American, I have to say. Well-read user 1 says Kwanzaa wishes he was authentically black and not a caricature of a black person based on how white liberals perceive blacks. He does this for them. Okay. Steps in Gold says Super Chat got missed, but still going to buy Cyberfrog. Oh, I'll get your Super Chat, Steps, and thank you for buying Cyberfrog, though. Vinny Art says, please show Through the Woods campaign on Indiegogo. Well, I might do a Comicsgate Live. I gotta say, I do Comicsgate Live shows, and people get their noses out of joint. I might just stop doing them. I'm gonna go on a rant about that in a second. Diversity and Cecil, hi, says Europeans are used to being ruled by kings for centuries. It's not in their nature to be free. It's foreign to them. Their default position is peasant. Frank Quillen, thanks for $20. Appreciate that. Says, hi, Ethan. I love your work. I've been a fan of yours since Last Jedi. I'm building a website you will probably like and would like to contract you to do the iconography. How should I contact you with an official offer if you are willing? Frank, that kind of thing is all about the money for me. It's not something I would instinctively jump at, but you can contact me at Ethan, ETHAN, 12032 at gmail.com. That is my email address. And you can Let me know what you're thinking. John Talks. Hey, John Talks. Hey, Uncle E. Always enjoy hearing your insight when it comes to the industry. I grew up on comics, but like many, lost interest in it. Congrats on passing 100K with this new campaign. Hey, thanks, John Talks. Another great YouTuber. Guys, subscribe to John Talks. Great show. I'm always surprised by who's in my audience. You know, it's always like, you never know. I see the same people talking and I'm like, oh, yeah, my friends are here. But you know, sometimes somebody pops up that I'm not expecting. Hang on, let me get a drink. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with Cecil, but that's an interesting theory. Cyberfrog Blood Honey just jumped up to $110,236. That's what a good pitch can do. I hope you guys like the pitch. I'm so excited about this book. I keep coming to realizations as it goes. I hit Andrea with a couple more of them today. I was like, look at this. Look what I'm going to do. The thing about this comic book is, it is long, it's lengthy, and it needs to be broken down into chapters that can be released as individual comics. And I've got it, man. I've got how to do it. Like Cyberfrog #1, which is the first 20 or so pages of Blood Honey. It works on its own. It's its own story. It's perfect. Trenchard 1375 says Norway is more free than the USA. Those Nordics. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I've never been there. I've never been to Norway, but I'd like to go. It looks cool. That's where the Vikings are from. Sulfur X says the superpowered beings in black are united against those who have no preternatural powers. Dr. Manhattan single-handedly won the Vietnam War. LOL. A stripper named Trixie. Hi, thanks for $10. EVS, whatever you do that takes your precious limited time away from your family, always make sure it's worth it. Hail Caesar. Yeah, I know. Like at this point, hey, look, we're blessed. It's like we are blessed. Andrew and I wake up every day excited about this new house. We've been renting together for so long, and it's she said we're putting down roots, and I was like, yes. We hired the pool guy to come. It's like $2,000 a year for them to just come in and utterly maintenance the pool, like hot tub. We have a little hot tub. We have a little we can go out there, drink a little wine. It's gonna be so nice. Pool's heated. That's just everything. It's beyond, like, even though Zach saw the house and said it's a mansion. It's not a mansion. To Zach it is, but it's not a mansion. Kuro Pakur says beware the pool boy. Actually, it's a pool girl, so I made sure of that. Lawrence Henchman says, yo, give a shout to the Alterna IGG. They're close to some stretch goals. These guys have to come to me. You have to come to me. I don't want to mention anybody. Again, people get their noses out of joint when it comes to this show. Whether they're getting too much attention, someone else is getting too much attention, other people are getting zero attention. And by the way, this makes me the leader of Comicsgate. And because of this, I have too much power and I must be dethroned. You guys don't even know the weird stuff that's going on behind the scenes. You have no idea. It's really, really weird. Comicsgate, I kind of try to tell people what I think Comicsgate is, what it means, based on conversations that I've had with Zach. And to me, Zach is like the prophet of Comicsgate. We disagree about some things, but it's like, what is this movement about? And what should it be about? And what should our objectives be? And because Zach and I are becoming best pals, it's like we talk a lot now. And I listen to him. Most of my ideas come from him, but then I'll kind of, because of my experience in the industry that he doesn't have, I kind of bend some of his ideas a little bit this way or that way, because sometimes he just doesn't have the information or the experience that I have. But for the most part, like, I think when it comes to what Comicsgate means or what it should be, we both have the same ideas. Now, other people, but it's still loose. Like, you can kind of The only things that I think are immutable about Comicsgate is that you need to treat the fans well. Okay, it needs to be about customers first. Like, customers are always right. That needs to be, that's like the first and foremost priority. And the second thing is, comic books that you produce within Comicsgate should not be politically divisive. They should be escapist entertainment. So those are really the two things. Don't call your customers a Nazi. Don't produce garbage, insulting content. Try to sell your books to everyone. Think of them as fast food, Think of them as hot dogs. Think of them as hamburgers, pizza, something that's delicious, that's for everybody. You would have to be a weirdo to not like the comics that we're producing, because they're for everybody. So those are the principles of Comicsgate as I understand them. Now, other people disagree with me. And there are people who say Comicsgate should never be about producing comic books for sale, which I don't even know what it should be for then. I'm not even sure, what Comicsgate is for, if it isn't for actually countering what is coming out from this garbage industry. If all we're going to do is complain and react to what Marvel and DC and IDW are doing, then what exactly is the point? We can't win. There's no winning. There's no winning that situation when all you're doing is reacting to what other people are doing, and the people who you're reacting to hate you. You can say, I want Spider-Man to be red, and they're going to say, F you, he's blue now. Just because they hate you. You have zero power. The only way to gain power and influence within the comic book industry is to counter it and succeed. So Comicsgate Phase 1 was one that I was not really all that involved in. I was just a listener in the audience. Comicsgate Phase 1 was complaining and educating people as to what the problem was in comics. Some great YouTubers, including Zach, Diversity in Comics, and Captain Cummings and Doug Ernst. I still love Doug Ernst's videos, man. He's so smart. These guys rose up and just said, this is wrong. They pointed the finger of scorn. Phase 1 was the finger of scorn. These are SJWs. This is what the SJWs are doing. The SJWs are destroying Marvel. They're destroying DC. This is how you know what SJWs do. This is why when you read SJW comics, they don't feel right to you, because of these reasons. And then they had to deal with accusations of racism and sexism and homophobia. That was how the SJWs responded and tried to fight back. All of these battles were fought and won or lost in some cases. By the time I showed up, February of 2018, and said, no, I'm Comicsgate, and here's what. These guys are exactly right. This is why I'm in trouble with the comic book industry. I'm in trouble with the comic book industry because I'm supposed to be fighting Comicsgate. There's a weird kind of omerta. There's a weird kind of thing where you're supposed to be loyal to your peers in comics. You're not supposed to be critical. Everybody is supposed to accept the fact that social justice belongs in the comic book industry. And if you stand up and you say, no, this is bullshit, and you're killing comics by doing this, and I disagree with this, what you're doing is you're harassing your peers, the women and people of color in comics. That is what they say. They say you're not being loyal to your peers, and therefore you are canceled. You're canceled. So I did that. That's what I did. After living with being a Republican in the comic book industry, depending on it. I wasn't just talking about it on YouTube. I depended on the comic book industry to feed my family, and I was persecuted for it constantly. My reputation was utterly destroyed by people who told each other and told people who didn't know me and wrote articles calling me a Nazi, defaming me, degrading me, showing up at my personal appearances, threatening violence, committing acts of vandalism. This is what was in store for me. Constant death threats, constant rape threats against my wife, all of this stuff. Why? Because I said, no, this is SJWism does not belong in comics because it doesn't make any money. It doesn't make any money. So what do we need to do now? We've got the fact. We figured out the fact that as Comicsgate Phase 1 went on, Marvel and DC and Image responded by doubling down, which is what SJWs do. They didn't listen to us, even though they were manifestly going broke. They were not listening to the voices on YouTube. They weren't. They weren't going to make any changes. So the only thing to do, and Zach and I discussed this together, Zach was a voice on YouTube. I was a professional. We decided to go forward and crowdfund comic books that defied the mainstream comic book industry as Comicsgate. Now, I didn't need to be like, hey, I'm Comicsgate. That wasn't a big part of what Cyberfrog was to me. Cyberfrog was asserting my independence, but I was inextricably, I was tied to Comicsgate. That's never going to change. I've already declared myself Comicsgate. I had to figure out, well, wait a second, is there a lot of weirdos are saying there's a conflict of interest because I'm promoting a viewpoint and also selling to people who agree with that viewpoint? That's bullshit. That threw me for a loop for about 8 hours, and then I realized that was a lie. I am Comicsgate. I'm one of the biggest voices within Comicsgate. It's the way it is. So together, Zach and I raised $1.1 million on 2 different comics or 3 different comics. I think Zach had 2 different comics. And people had to pay attention. And then other people came on and said, well, we want to do the same thing. Well, you're welcome to. Now, my YouTube channel has grown to the point where I now have 115,000 subscribers, almost 116. So this is a pretty big platform. If you get on my show, if I let you on my channel to talk about your Comicsgate project, you're going to sell some comics. People have gauged that a single appearance on my channel will win you. You will earn $3,000 for your campaign for appearing on here once. So that means just being on this channel and kind of hanging out, letting me talk up your project, being cool, being funny. Sometimes I dunk on you if you're Mike S. Miller or Nasser. You're probably going to make $3,000 an appearance. That makes me tremendously, tremendously powerful to people who don't like me. So that means that people who are anti-Comicsgate don't like me. Even worse, they don't like me harder. And people who were Comicsgate, who are jealous of the fact that they might not be as big of voices within Comicsgate as they were hoping to be, hate me even worse. And these people, many of whom I've hosted on my channel, many of whom have had an opportunity to be here, many of whom got their books funded very quickly because they were on my channel and feigned friendship and conciliatory behavior towards me. I mean, these people made a lot of money cooperating with me. Just not even cooperate. Just come on my show, be friendly, talk to the fans. You're going to get a big audience. I can make your book seem fun. I can make it sell. These people decided that I was too powerful, and then they made up conspiracy theories that I was profiting. This is such an outrage, that I was profiting from helping them. Now, here's the truth about that. See all the super chats I get? That's my profit. I put on a show here. So you guys, if I put on a show that's fun and I have a lot of people in here, there's a lot of like fun banter going on. It does benefit me because you guys will send me $5, $2, $10, sometimes $20 to get your comments read. That's mine. I don't share that. That's my money. But when it comes to what these people earn on their Indiegogos, that's all theirs. I've never asked for one dime from anybody. And I've had many people, many people try to offer me payola so that I would utilize this platform and the power that this audience gives me, the trust that I've earned from this audience to promote other people's books. That has happened time and time again where people go, we'll cut you in for 20%. Or, how much you want to just, as an appearance fee to have me on the show and talk up my project. I could totally do that. I could totally very easily just have people come on here and say, hey, if you come on my show and I'm promoting your book, I'm taking 10% of whatever you earn. And you can ask anyone. You can ask absolutely anyone, even the people who are out to get me right now, even the people who are looking for dirt on me. It's like, are you kidding me? Anti-Comicsgate has been stalking me for 2 years. They know about my foreclosure. You think there's something else that you're gonna find on me that they haven't already found? I've already been kind of exposed. It's kind of freeing. Every bad thing there is to know about me is known. You know, you'd just be making stuff up at this point. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing. The idea that I would ever accept money to promote someone is extremely aggravating because I just don't do that. I don't believe in it. I don't want to be seen to be profiting from other people's creativity. That's not what I want to do. I want Comicsgate to succeed. It makes me feel good. Don't get me wrong. It does make me feel really cool that somebody can come on my show and get their book funded. That makes me feel awesome. I feel like Dick Clark. I feel rad. It's an honor. It's fun. It's thrilling. It makes me feel great. But the idea that I would profit from these smaller guys who are just trying to get their books out there, these guys who are new to comics, who haven't had 26 years of experience in the industry like I have, I don't want their money. I would like a thank you, though, at the very least. I don't want a shiv in the back. That's the one thing I don't want. What I want is not to be shivved in the back and not to have people suggesting horrible things about me because, I don't know, the same people who got funded so quickly being on my show and who decided F me and they don't need me are now struggling to get their campaigns funded without me. I understand that hurts. But I didn't do anything to you. Not a thing. I don't take from this community. I try to give to this community. I see these people as family. I see comic skaters, creative people, professionals, and wannabe professionals alike as family, and I want to help. And I don't, sometimes I go back and forth about it. I'm human. Like I kind of will go back and forth and go, you know what? I'm not Comicsgate. Screw you guys. And I want to throw a fit. And I threw a fit last year. And I think I renounced some responsibility that I think I have. And took it all back, apologized. Did I apologize? No, maybe I didn't apologize. I don't apologize. I have every right to get salty every now and then. But yeah, I'm not going to stop. These people who think that I'm a leader of Comicsgate, that's all your perception. Thank you for thinking that. That just means you admire me. If you resent me for being the leader of Comicsgate, that just means that you really admire me and you see that people are listening to me. I'm not the leader of Comicsgate. And if these people who think there's going to be some kind of hijacking of Comicsgate, I'm going to be dethroned as Caesar. If you guys were leaders, it would have already have happened. You wouldn't need to remove me or anything like that, deplatform me in any way. People would already be following you. That's how leadership works. You don't get to decide that you're the leader. People either follow you or they don't. If they're not following you and they're following me, you're not the leader, and it doesn't matter. It's they didn't choose to follow you. Something about you they don't like. Could be the fact that you double deal and backstab. Could be the fact that you lie, make up stories about people. Could be the fact that you seem unstable and butthurt all the time. Now, my thing is this. I don't consider myself the leader of Comicsgate unless you guys say I am, in which case I will be happy to continue to tell you guys probably the best path for Comicsgate to go forward to succeed, as I have done over and over and over again for the past year. I think I've led Comicsgate in a much better direction. We have much fewer, many fewer hit pieces being written about Comicsgate. We are able to stand up to SJWs. SJWs are not destroying people's lives the way they were. With this channel in power, with, with Cyberfrog Blood Honey raising $800,000 nearly, with all of our projects that get on this channel getting funded. Yeah, I mean, eventually, here's what's going to happen. Here's what I promise you guys is going to happen now. Comicsgate is going to reinvade the mainstream. That's right around the corner. Under what I'm doing, under my ideas, Comicsgate is going to reinvade the mainstream. Do you believe me? It's going to happen in 1 month. In 1 month, Comicsgate is going to be the mainstream. No, not around the corner, not 5 years, 1 month. I keep telling you guys. So look, I don't want to fight with people. I don't want to squabble with people. If people have dirt on me that's genuine, let's have it. I got all these comic skaters coming up to me like, people are asking me for dirt on you. Ask Renfamous for dirt on me. You know? What do you want? Why do you want me gone? Why do you want me gone? I'm trying to help. Yes, I'm going to get rich in the process. You bet. I already have. I've gotten rich in the process. That's not going to stop. I'm going to make even more money. I'm going to make even more money because I've got great ideas. I've got great ideas. Cyberfrog is going to be one of the best books of the year. Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet is going to be even better. That's going to come out this year too. Rainbow Brute, you guys are crazy about it. You guys want Rainbow Brute more than you want Cyberfrog. I expect that to be a sterling success as well. Cyberfrog product is right around the corner. Like real merchandise is coming. And you know, that stuff is just going to result in making more money. And then I'm going to actually employ. By next year, I'm going to be employing people, Comicsgate creators, to work for me. I'm actually going to get what I want. And I told you guys a year ago, I said, what, not a year ago, maybe in June, I was talking about this. My ultimate goal, my dream, what makes me weep is this fantasy that I have of sitting there hosting a company picnic, all caps comics, company picnic. And I see 5 families. I see, 5 people that I employ, their wives, their kids, their husbands, their kids. And we're all having a picnic. And I know that those people's lives are better because of me. That's what I want. And that's going to happen. That'll be here next year. Very excited about it. Yeah, I would be smoking a cigar in this scenario, Mars 10. So, I mean, fight. I get it, guys, you can fight all you want. Like, there's some of you, and you guys know who I'm talking to. You guys can fight. You guys can quarrel. You guys can not get along. You guys can scheme and plan. You can create ops. You can create division and discontent. I'm telling you now, anyone who goes along with you is going to lose. Anyone who goes along with you is going to lose. You're not going to win. There's no victory to be had. The only victory to be had is just straightforward where we're going. Straightforward. Projecting confidence, projecting fun, enjoying doing what we're doing. These smaller guys are going to get their chance. Everyone is getting their chance to do pretty well. Not everybody is going to make this much money on a comic. I know a lot of people are like, wow, what? Let me explain something. Some of us spent a long time building up YouTube channels, building up huge followings. And then before that, someone like me spent 26 years drawing comic books in the mainstream. So I have an audience. I've got skills that I brought over from that. Now, some people are going to have lesser results, but I promise you, they're going to be better results than you would have otherwise. Crowdfunding is hard, man. It is hard work. It requires, first of all, it requires talent and skill. Not everybody should be able to do it. Not everybody's going to get to do this. Some people should not crowdfund. Some people should not be comic book creators. They don't have the talent to do it. But if you do, you are going to get the chance to succeed. Nasser Rabadi, young, 21 years old, succeeded twice, at least twice, maybe 3 times at this point, succeeded in getting funded. So I don't know. Here's what I'm saying. From what I'm hearing, there's going to be some static in Comicsgate. I mean, I don't welcome the static. I hate the fighting. Tired of the fighting and the division. Everybody should be working together towards a goal of just prosperity. I don't know why it has to be prosperity exactly the way you want it to be. Again, if you were leaders, people would be following you already. There wouldn't have to be underhanded weird ops and everything. If you were leaders, people would already be following you. If people are not following you and you have to do skeevy things to convince them to follow you, you are not a leader. Take a long, hard look in the mirror. Think about that. In the meantime, despite all this, we're still going to succeed and it's going to be great. And I'm so glad to have you guys in the audience. I am so glad that when I do a live stream, it still gets like 1,000 people. You guys come out to listen. You guys come out to get excited. You guys fund my projects. Cyberfrog Blood Honey now. Let's just refresh this real quick. And let me get a drink, for God's sake. $110,306 raised for this this final version of the cover. Thank you guys eternally. I'm going to read these super chats and see what you guys have to say. Oh my gosh. All right, so I got that off my chest. Was that annoying? Oh, Sweet Cast is in here. By the way, Sweet Cast has a comic that's his crowdfund is I don't think it's started yet. It's going to start soon. It looks really, really good. It's called Downcast. He's somebody who should be doing a comic book. All right. People are saying, no, it was good to hear. That was a good listen. Yeah, when I rant, and I don't even look at the screen. I just say what I want to say. All right. I appreciate you guys. All right. So let me see. Where did we leave off here? Fuck Google 2 says, you are a leader, you are eloquent, and most stable artist in Comicsgate. I talked to somebody yesterday who was like, you are the leader of somebody who's mad at me. You are the leader of Comicsgate. I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, if you keep saying that, it's going to piss people off. This isn't Comicsgate is not Gamergate. It's different. And that's something to remember. Wow, look at all these super chats. Yellow Flash 2. Hey, Yellow Flash. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to Yellow Flash, his channel right now is rocking and roll. I mean, Yellow Flash became a star of Anime Gate. And Anime Gate is, man, that is where the SJWs are right now. You see where the SJWs go and where they cause trouble. They're in anime right now, and they're behaving exactly the way they always do. And luckily, we have voices like Yellow Flash and Umbrella Guy and Nick Rekieta to beat them back over there. Beat them back, not beat them off. Just careful. Careful what words you use. Yellow Flash 2 says, just don't let the low T people on then. Solved. Darth Vicious says, just back Cyberfrog. Train for the Waspocalypse. I could actually say that. Seb Devnov 7 of 9 says, Comicsgate is a great marketplace. The vendors may fuss with each other, but so far have all kept their promises to me. And I know that doesn't mean me, because I know that my book is technically late. It's 6 months late by the time you guys get it. I will tell you this, though. It's excellent. It's excellent. And I won't miss a deadline again, because I'm going to project my deadlines way into the future. Yeah, this next book's coming out in 2030, and then it's going to be real early. Klein Dropper says, Uncle E, have you discussed the Star Wars poster already? C-3PO with a bowcaster? What the F? Chewie and R2D2 death confirmed. Might as well. Yeah, I discussed it already. The bowcaster was pretty fascinating. I wonder if that means what you're saying. Timecode Mechanic says, you helped me over the 1K threshold. Thank you. Yeah, Nathan came on. He did pretty good. And that was just a quickie. Nathan just popped on for a minute. Gimp Rider says, I'm interested in comics again. Thanks to you. Jesse N says, I trust you, Uncle Ehe. Thank you. You know what? I try to maintain that. I try to be worthy of that trust. That's not an easy thing for someone to say. I trust you. I want to be worthy of that trust. I don't want to let you guys down. Honesty's important. I have mixed feelings about things sometimes, and I try to control my feelings and try to, try not to get pissed off. But yeah, sometimes it's tough, man. These people are nuts. These anti-comic skaters are crazy. They're absolutely crazy. Earth Citizen 9 says, how many different factions are there in Comicsgate right now? And do you think this division will grow over time? I'm proud to be in yours. Comicsgate is for life. Hail Caesar. Thank you, Earth Citizen 9. I don't know. I think there's a faction that's kind of led by Tim Lim. And that guy's got a real problem with me. And I know how it all happened. I'd like to put together a compilation video of why Tim Lim has a problem, like the moments that happened that caused trouble. But I mean, the main thing was that somebody asked me way back when, like before the 4th of July last year, somebody said, do you think the Trump books that are coming out are Comicsgate? And I said, no, because they're politically divisive. That's not Comicsgate. Like, it's just not Comicsgate. That doesn't mean Tim Lim isn't Comicsgate. Tim Lim is Comicsgate, but Tim Lim's Trump books are not Comicsgate, just by definition. Well, who makes up the definitions? What are we all talking about when we talk about how the comics of Marvel have become super left-wing politics, far left-wing, divisive, partisan? It doesn't, just flipping that over and saying we're doing the same thing but doing it from the right. That's no better. That's no better than that. The reason why we want comics to be apolitical is so that they appeal to a wider audience. It's entirely about entertaining people and making money. Money equals prosperity. So if you're doing books about Trump that are right wing, or that maybe somebody who doesn't like Trump isn't going to enjoy, that's not Comicsgate. They might be good, but it's just not Comicsgate. So he got very upset about that, about me saying that. I didn't even know Tim Lim was the artist of that. He shows up on my show with transcripts, transcripts about, what I said. Like, he needs to read it back to me. And it's like people made fun of him for that. It's like, I have transcripts. Well, yeah, you do. I'm perfectly we don't need the transcripts. We agree to them. All right, hold on a second. I just accidentally, okay. No, it's fine. We can just leave it like that. All right, so Donnie Thumb and Fist says, uses good people, good people. Thank you. Trencher 1375 says, about damn time. Hell yeah. Keith Thomas, thanks for $1 donation. Appreciate that. And Thunderbird says, Ethan, though you are not without flaws, you are to me and many others an appreciated member of Comicsgate, for which I thank you. Thank you. Matt Svalar says, the market dictated your popularity. Comicsgate should support those market forces, your place within the movement, and any benefits associated with that. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not something that can be controlled because it's not something I decided. It's not, being, having power and influence over this movement isn't something that I chose to have. It just happened. So, and I I can't give it away, and it really can't be taken away from me. The audience has to choose. The market has to walk away from me. And they're trying to do that too. I mean, they're trying to kind of badmouth me and get people to sort of doubt me. And they're saying all kinds of conspiratorial stuff happens behind the scenes. War Campaign has given rise to all kinds of conspiracy theories. That War Campaign is like my shock troopers, and they're out there. It's really, really strange. Strange. Spike in Madness says, with great Caesar's power comes great responsibility. Diversity and Cecil says, I've got dirt on Doug, but it's just actual dirt. Xeon Genesis says, I wanted to show my appreciation to you. In my mind, you're an icon such as Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. It's inspiring to see you continue to grow while hate and ignorance spread throughout the industry. Andrew Venable says, you've had massive success with Cyberfrog, Ethan. I guess that means a new set of problems. We love you here in the chat, so just hang in there, man. Oh, thank you. Love you too. Yeah, everybody should just get along. Sulfur X says, I feel that Comicsgate creators can also be creators who don't seek to create works of pure escapism, even works that can be labeled disturbing. Yeah, no, well, that is escapism. It's all escapism. But I mean, for some reason, part of the issue that brought Comicsgate to existence, one of the things that we talked about was just that politics were killing comics. Divisive politics. SJW say, oh, but everything has politics. This is about the civil rights. Okay, all right. But you know what? You can be read a bunch of different ways. Something like X-Men, which is about the civil rights movement to some people. To other people, it's about the pain of being a teenager going through puberty and not feeling like you're understood by people. That's fine. For other people, it's about gay rights. See, the fact that it can be interpreted in like 6 or 7 different ways is why X-Men is so good and why it survives. If you were just to say this is a direct one-on-one metaphor for the civil rights movement of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, it just wouldn't last. You should be able to interpret what you want into good art. Sketch Therapy says, one-sided propagandization is not good for storytelling. You are right. It takes a light touch. Thank you. That was hard to say, Sketch Therapy. It's a tough word to pronounce. All right. So with that, I don't know. I'm going to get to work. I feel like this was a pretty good live stream. I feel like I got warmed up. Pop-Tart Gun says, good comic content is open to interpretation. That is right. That is correct. Swinging Cod, thanks for $5. Coming in late. What did Dr. Tim do this time? Does it mean we get to do another Cecil Comic Hut video? No, those guys are still upset with me. I can't fix it. I've tried to fix it. I've tried to extend an olive branch to those guys just to say, look, we don't have to all be friends, but we should be friendly. Or at least cooperative? And the answer is no. The answer is no. We're not going to be cooperative. We're not going to be friendly. Well, that sucks. I can't fix everything, Steve Payne. But what I can do is just continue doing what we're doing, which is seems to be working, at least for right now. And I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about you guys being a part of it. And I'm excited about moving forward. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to get to work. It's time to draw Cyberfrog for the day. And I will probably see you guys with another video a little bit later on. But thank you, everyone. And have a great day.